Hi everyone, this is Eagle News. I am Rose Papa Angeles in Washington. It's the first Saturday of the month, June 4, 2022, here in the nation's capital. Our coverage begins now. In the country's continuing struggle against climate change, the Biden-Harris administration announces its plan to weatherproof American communities and homes to resist extreme weather conditions. Jeff Sanidad reports.
The Biden-Harris administration announces a national initiative to advance building codes. In a statement, the White House says the initiative aims to help state, local, tribal, territorial, and governments adopt the most modern building standards that makes communities more resilient to hurricanes, flooding, wildfire, and other extreme weather events intensified by climate change. The most current codes mean more smart designs and construction methods that save lives, reduce property damage, and lower utility bills. By building roofs that can withstand hurricane winds, using construction materials resistant to flood damage, and installing insulation that keeps heating and cooling costs low, damage brought about by extreme weather events will be dramatically reduced, thus helping underserved communities who suffered the most. The White House says these modernized energy codes can save households an average of $162 each year on utility bills, which is especially significant in reducing energy burden for low-income households. 2 out of every 3 communities in the United States have not adopted the latest building codes. This means these communities are vulnerable to climate impacts and higher energy costs. Jeff Sanidad, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Jeff. Meanwhile, the third round of infant formula shipment through Operation Fly Formula is en route to the country as one of the major international airlines agrees to fly them for free. Rosel Feria has the details.
The third Operation Fly Formula flight for the first shipment of Kendamil Infant Formula entering the United States has been arranged. In a statement, the White House says United Airlines has agreed to transport Kendamil Formula free of charge from Heathrow Airport in London to multiple airports across the country over a 3-week period. These are the first Operation Formula flight to be donated by an airline carrier. These flights will contain over 300,000 pounds or approximately 3.7 million 8-ounce bottle equivalents of Kendamil Infant Formula. They will begin shipping on June 9. These flights will contain approximately 3.2 million 8-ounce bottle equivalents of Kendamil Classic Stage 1 and 540,000 8-ounce bottle equivalents of Kendamil Organic. The Kendamil formula available through Operation Fly Formula will be distributed and available for purchase at selected U.S. retailers nationwide as well as online. The first shipment, which includes Kendamil Classic and Kendamil Organic Formula, will be available at Target stores across the country in the coming weeks. Rosel Feria, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Rosel. In other news, K-pop supergroup BTS graces the White House and meets with President Joe Biden to discuss strategies in furthering Asian inclusion and representation in the country. This effort amid the rising number of anti-Asian hate crimes in the U.S. Elise Danielle reports.
May is Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month here in the United States. Celebration includes the remarkable role of the AANHPI community in America's history. Behind me is the White House, where K-pop phenomenon BTS discusses today with President Biden strategies to further Asian inclusion and representation here in the United States. The South Korean supergroup appears at a press briefing ahead of a meeting with the president. Singer Park Jimin, best known as Jimin, says they will use their voices to help put a stop to anti-Asian hate crimes.
최근 아시아계를 대상으로 한 많은 증오 범죄에 굉장히 놀랐고 또 마음이 안 좋았는데요. 이런 일이 근절되는데 조금이라도 도움이 되고자 오늘 이 자리를 빌어 목소리를 내고자 합니다.
Gathered outside the White House, some of whom are just using their lunch break for the day, are hundreds of BTS fans hoping to get a glimpse of their inspirations. Members of the BTS army share with us how effective they think the 7-member South Korean boy band would be in promoting inclusion and representation in a country where hate crimes against Asians are rising.
They have a very large fan base that's motivated by kindness and support. I think it'll cause more of a movement. There's already hopefully a movement to protect Asian people from hate crimes. Hopefully this will propel it forward.
BTS has brought so much attention to media worldwide since they're the first Korean or Asian group that has pretty big impact to the world in general. I think that having them meet Biden and having those conversations is already bringing a lot of awareness.
They're a big representation within the youth, so if the youth make a movement, the government will listen to the youth. I love their songs.
I like their music. They're funny, they're cute.
They're very hardworking, they're funny.
Elisa Niel, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Elise Danielle. Still in Washington, President Biden has proclaimed June 2022 as National Immigrant Heritage Month. Here in the nation's capital, the district started the celebrations with the appointment of the new director of the Mayor's Office on Caribbean Community Affairs. Estela Dominique reports.
Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser proclaims June 2022 as Immigrant Heritage Month. Bowser recognizes the rich heritage and contributions of the district's immigrant community. She says Washington is a stronger, vibrant city because of the contributions of immigrant communities. She also announces the appointment of Natalie S. Snyder as the new director of the Mayor's Office on the Caribbean Community Affairs. As part of the celebration, the mayor announces that applications for 2023's community grants for the offices of African Affairs, Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs, and Latino Affairs will begin June 13th. According to migrationpolicy.org, in 2019, there were over 44.9 million immigrants in the U.S., the highest number since census records have been kept. Estela Dominique, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Estela Dominique, and happy National Immigrant Heritage Month, America. Now, let's head over to Toronto in Canada, where 3 teenagers have been charged after a series of pellet gun shootings in schools. Yolanda Aspiras reports.
3 Toronto teens are being charged after separate incidents of shooting pellet guns in 2 schools. A 17-year-old girl was the victim of the first incident, and the second, a 15-year-old boy who was shot in the head and arm. Both were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The identities of the 3 suspects remain concealed as per the Youth Criminal Justice Act, which states that a youth offender's identity cannot be published. News of school shootings have been increasing even in Canada after the Texas killings, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau proposes new legislations for tougher gun laws in Canada. However, pellet guns or air guns, most often used for sport shooting or hunting, are legal in Canada. Just last week, a man in Toronto was killed by police after carrying a pellet gun rifle that resembled a real firearm near schools. Air guns remain sold and easily accessible in many Canadian online stores and larger retail companies like Canadian Tire, and are sold without requiring a firearm license. Yolanda Aspiras, Toronto, Ontario.
Thanks, Yolanda. Thomas Likeness tells us about the disturbing series of gun violence in the U.S., a water shortage in Senegal that prompted the construction of a desalination plant, an exclusive restaurant for dogs. Plus, find out why a Ukrainian man says laziness saved his life. Here's this week's correspondent at large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. I was hoping not to talk about this again this week. Gun violence in the United States. it continues unabated. When I talked with you last week, we spoke of the Uvalde massacre where those 19 children and 2 teachers were gunned down by a crazed shooter. Since then, several incidents. Here's some of them. This past week, a disgruntled patient shot and killed a surgeon and 3 others at a hospital. He claims since his operation, he was in continuous pain, said it was the doctor's fault, so he grabbed a handgun and rifle, headed to the hospital, shot the doctor, and those trying to protect the physician. The suspect took his own life. Then later in the week, gunplay at a funeral in Racine, Wisconsin. 5 wounded. Thankfully, no one killed. But later that day, at a church parking lot in Ames, Iowa, 2 people killed by gunfire. The gunman killed himself. The problem isn't getting any better. The research I'm about to cite comes from Teresa Hannafin. She's a reporter with the Boston Globe. I read her blog weekly. The latest figures she could get her hands on come from 2020, a couple of years ago. And that year, more than 45,000 Americans were killed by guns. That's an average of 124 a day. More than half of those deaths were suicides. But this is scary. 43% were homicides. And the politicians keep saying guns aren't the problem. What do you think? Let's move on now. You solve one problem, and the solution creates another. That's what's happening in the West African country of Senegal. There's a water shortage there, not enough fresh water for drinking. Off the coast, there's plenty of water in the Atlantic Ocean, but you can't drink it. Too salty. So engineers have designed a desalination plant to take the salt out of the water. Construction has just begun, completion set for 2025. But fishermen working around the plant say waste from it will drive the fish away. They say they're going to have to go further away from shore to bring in the day's catch. Environmentalists chime in, saying the plant could harm the environment, affect sea creatures. Seems you can't win. Fix one thing, and another goes wrong. Here's a business that's gone to the dogs. It's a restaurant called Happy Bark Day. This restaurant is for dogs only. Owner Hyan Suk-koo serves food, coffee, and cake to her 4-legged customers. Koo is from South Korea, and she says in her home country there's all kinds of healthy dessert shops for pets. Koo's a nutritionist and a certified pet bakery chef. And she says pet owners these days, they want healthy alternatives for their animals.
A lot of dog owners are more interested about pet health, because once you have a dog, this is not dog anymore, this is your family members. But unfortunately, dogs' lifespan is shorter than us, so we are more focused on their welfare and their health, so they can live longer as much as possible with us.
So what's on the menu? Puppuccinos. They're made from a broth of oxtail or chicken. There's beef or salmon pup cakes, and desserts, of course. It's not cheap to feed a dog at Happy Bark Day. Meals cost between $10 and $20, and if you want the birthday special with a cake, you'll be shelling out about $55. Well, being lazy saved this man from dying in the Ukraine war. Meet Sergei Tarasiuk. He lives in the eastern Ukrainian city of Slavyansk. The other night he got home. He was too tired to fix his bed, so he decided, I'll fall asleep in my son's room that's next to his regular bedroom. Suddenly, he's awakened by an explosion. A Russian missile destroyed most of his house, including the bedroom where he regularly slept. And that, Sergei says, is how laziness saved his life. You know what they say about laziness? Although necessity may be the mother of invention, laziness is the father. And I think it's time for a break for me, so I'll be back in 7 days. In the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News.
Thanks, Thomas. Now let's head to Australia, where the award-winning Vivid Sydney has returned, and spectators couldn't be more delighted. Shane Reyes reports.
Vivid Sydney 2022 is set to celebrate its 12th year through the multitude of unique attractions scattered across Sydney CBD and continue its reputation as one of the largest and most successful attractions in New South Wales. After a 2-year hiatus, Vivid Sydney has a fresh new look with several new attractions. New South Wales Tourism Minister Stuart Ayres says there are more than 200 different events, one being the largest drone show in the Southern Hemisphere, which features 600 drones lighting up the sky. Visitors can view a number of light displays as they take the longest walk, an 8-kilometre hike that begins at the Sydney Opera House. Vivid Sydney has been awarded Australia's best tourism event for 6 years. It attracted a record of 2.4 million attendees and brought in $172 million to the New South Wales economy in 2019. Vivid Sydney is Australia's largest entertainment event. It is the largest festival of lights, music and the arts in the Southern Hemisphere. Shane Reyes, OceaniaAtAGlance, Eagle News.
Thanks, Shane. Papua New Guineans pay tribute to the late Sam Basil. Eko Hortaleza Quinola reports.
Papua New Guinea citizens flocked the Surgeon-Gai Stadium to attend a tribute for Sir Sam Basil.
In tributes to Basil, Prime Minister James Marape and others spoke of how he championed good governance. They said his leadership of Pangu Party, especially the people of Morobe, had a significant impact in Papua New Guinea politics during his term. Basil's body laid in state at the Parliament Grand Hall for 2 days before his casket was taken to his hometown, Lay City, Morobe Province, for a state funeral. Meanwhile, Lay City's Member of Parliament and the Minister for Lands and Physical Planning, Honorable John Russo, has been appointed as the new Deputy Prime Minister.
As much as possible, we gotta give him fullest and highest respect to our leader, to the standing of the Honorable Sam Basil, who in life lived and served a life of total service to our country in all capacities he held. As a member for Bulolo, as a senior opposition member, and as Minister of State, and as Deputy Prime Minister and leader of the European Party, we will accord him the fullest respect he deserves in this time space we have. He was a leader who had every indication of going to the next level. To the people of Buang and Wabulolo, to our people of Morobe, and to the European Party, I just want to ask every one of us, let's forget politics for a while. Let's give him the correct place he deserves in our hearts and in the heart of our nation.
Basil left a legacy of fighting for equality and justice for the people of Papua New Guinea. Eko Hortaleza Quinola, OceaniaAtAGlance, Eagle News.
Thanks, Echo. Now back here in the U.S., Summer Esguerra of our Florida team shares with us tips on how to ace those exams and end the school year right. Here's this week's Learning Curve.
Hi friends! It's already nearing the end of May, and that means for a lot of us students, we have many exams that we are trying to study for. As a student myself, I know how hectic it can be, but don't worry, today I have a study method for you that can really help you ace your exams. This study method is called the Pomodoro technique. This method requires you to take some time to study, but have breaks in between. The first step is to set yourself on one assignment or project that you need to get done. Set a timer for 25 minutes and work only on that assignment straight with no distractions. If you are like me, you can listen to music while working. After your 25 minutes are done, set another timer for 5 minutes to enjoy some free time. During your free time, you can go on your phone, read a book, or get a snack to eat. Repeat these steps until you've completed your work. I hope you found this study method effective. Now go out there and ace your exams. Summer Esguerra, Learning Curve, Pensacola, Florida.
Thank you, Summer. In Corpus Christi, fans of the Harry Potter series, who happen to be coffee lovers too, can enjoy their hot or cold brew surrounded by the Hogwarts vibe. Jane Rogel on this week's Color My World.
Today, we will explore a coffee shop in Corpus Christi, Texas that caters to the fans of the Harry Potter series. Welcome to the Coffee Mug.
The Coffee Mug is not your typical coffee shop. Here, fans of the Harry Potter series can feel right at home.
My shirt, this one right here, I'm a wizard in training, so I'm currently a first-year Ravenclaw.
The cafe offers Hogwarts-inspired theme decor and furniture, a gift shop, murals and backgrounds for Insta-worthy selfies, a collection of books and interactive board games, and most notably, coffee, tea, and dessert items named after scenes or characters in both the novels and films.
So I got really interested in Harry Potter when I was in elementary school. I was definitely fangirling. It felt pretty surreal. I was really not expecting how realistic it looked. It was really it was giving dark academia, and it felt like I was in Harry Potter, and it was really cool. Being to connect with other fans is pretty great. You find people and make friends with common interests.
Even though I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, actually we're looking at something. We're visiting in Corpus Christi, and we're looking at somewhere to go and take the family. And yeah, when you walk in, the family really liked it. It was like, oh wow, look at all these cool things on the walls and the furniture, and going through the menu, the drinks, and it's pretty cool.
So this drink is called the Pansy. It's bluish in color, and it has 3 ingredients: the pea flower, lavender, and milk. Let me try how it tastes. So good. I'll give it 5 out of 5, 5 stars, or maybe 5.5.
I think obviously what makes it so unique is the fact that it's Harry Potter themed. It's about Harry Potter, the Wizarding World, and I'm not even from Corpus, but when we were driving by, I saw it and I was like, we have to come here before we leave because I'm in love with Harry Potter.
Whether or not you're a fan of Harry Potter, the Coffee Mug has something for all members of the family to enjoy, regardless of what house you belong to. Jane Rogel, Color My World, Eagle News.
Thanks, Jane. In Anaheim, the fans of the Star Wars saga felt the Force during this year's celebration. From Jedi mind tricks to the cutest droids in the galaxy, Alan and Eva definitely had a blast covering this one.
First time and returning fans packed the halls at this year's Star Wars celebration.
For 4 days, Jedi, Mandalorians, and Wookiees from across the galaxy congregate at the Anaheim Convention Center.
And droids, we can't forget about them.
Those aren't the droids you're looking for.
Was that your Obi-Wan impersonation?
Yes, it was.
We all have been here all 4 days, and it's we're starting to feel the exhaustion, so to speak. We're all four of us are part of the 501st, and we have been doing a lot of events so far as suiting up, and today is our fun day.
Most of us have grown up with Star Wars. I mean, my mom took me to see Star Wars in 1977 when I was 3 years old. It's been a part of my life growing up, and that's the same way it is for most people here. So to be with this many people that have a passion for something that you have a passion for, it's awesome.
I couldn't get enough of these guys in white armor and just looking so ominous and Darth Vader. And I went home and took cardboard and made my own outfit when I was 8 years old or 9 years old.
To me, we have this same sort of love for these characters that we grew up with. You know, we can relate to these characters. It's sort of the arc of these characters, you know, sort of redemption stories, right? We can all relate to. And it's an escape for us.
My brother and I, we grew up watching Star Wars, so like it's always been in our family, and it's so amazing to see like all the other people who like shared the same experiences with us growing up and the same love for Star Wars, and we get to share that together.
My mom always says the reason I like Star Wars is because she went and saw Star Wars for the first time when she was pregnant with me. So she says that's the reason why I like it so much, and I can't argue with that.
Of course, when I was little, everyone wants to be a Jedi. But as I got older, I feel like I'm more of the villain, the misunderstood villain. So that's why I am being the Inquisitor this time.
Han Solo, who really got me involved with Star Wars, and the Millennium Falcon. I'm a technophile, and I just love the fact that the Millennium Falcon is a piece of junk, but it looks so fabulous and fast. I mean, I love it. And I think what other makes it is that the imagination can be spread. Kids can go out there and play and be anyone they want to be and still have fun.
A little girl came up to her and asked for a picture. It was really sweet. It makes it feel like you're part of the world, and there's so much more magic when the kids want to take pictures with you or things. It's really nice to feel like you're part of it.
I actually woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and it took me, I would say, about 2.5 hours to do all my makeup, and then I didn't finish all my makeup until we parked in the car. But it involves just like blocking out the white markings and then painting the orange over it and then doing the eyeshadow and the eyeliner and the lipstick and then putting it all together.
We spent a year and a half 3D printing this. People love this droid. I guess they love the bad droids, apparently. We weren't quite sure what the reaction would be, but it's been so positive and people get so excited, and we can't go through the convention without being stopped 1,000 times for photos and a lot of questions.
Humans who cosplay or build droids need lots of time to prep for a convention. Wookiees, on the other hand, can rise and shine in the morning, all ready to go.
Chewie says, you know, it doesn't take a lot of hard work. He gets up, brushes his fur, makes him look good in the morning, makes sure his hair's out of his eyes, gets his breakfast ready, he's got the porg ready. And after that, he's just ready to get the ball rolling and go for the day. Chewie loves taking pictures with his fans. You know, he is big about all of his fans here and all across the galaxy. So if anyone wants to stop and take a picture, he's never going to tell them no. You know, Chewie says to always be yourself, eat a lot of porg, make sure it's good and rotisserie, and just have fun with life and enjoy Star Wars.
The safe space provided at conventions like this allows fans to celebrate Star Wars as they wish.
No matter which side of the Force they gravitate towards. Eva and Alan, Eagle News, Anaheim, California.
Thanks, Alan and Eva. The Force is definitely with you. This is bad news for Californians who wanted to prepay for annual access to Disneyland for most days of the year. With the details, Julius Mariano in Los Angeles.
Disneyland introduced its Magic Key program last August to replace its old annual pass. Depending on the level of access, prices range from about $400 to $1,400. Key holders had confirmed access to the park for most days of the year. Now, that program is on hold. A new program for California residents allows them to buy 3-day passes for a limited time. The cheaper passes are restricted to Monday through Thursday, Weekend access is more expensive. Prices will vary throughout the summer. The passes are valid from June 13th to September 15th. For existing Magic Key holders, Disney says they will be given an opportunity to renew their pass when it expires, but the park gave no other details about renewals. Like everything else, the admission price to the theme park has gone up. Julius Mariano, Eagle News, Los Angeles, California.
Thanks, Julius. Before we let you go, let's take a stroll together down Old Town, Virginia, as Alisa Marie shows us around this charming jewel of the city. Here's this week, Adventure Awaits.
Hello, my name is Alyssa Marie Iqbal, and we're here in Old Town Alexandria. Nestled to the south of DC is Alexandria, Virginia. Known for Old Town, a beautiful preservation of 18th and 19th century architecture, Alexandria bustles with a unique energy compared to the city. Locals and tourists alike flock to Old Town for a respite from the whirlwind of city life to dive into history, arts, and culture. Located just off the Potomac River, there is a marina and waterfront park. With sweeping views of the Potomac from National Harbor all the way to the monuments, it's a refreshing breath of fresh air amidst the city. Currently on display at Waterfront Park is the I Love You art installation. Created by Roberto Berhard and Rosario Marquardt of R&R Studios, this installation glows with a pink neon light right in the middle of the marina. R&R Studios said in their artist statement, "It is an instant landmark that brings people together with a simultaneously universal and personal message." Marked with actual cobblestones, King Street runs through the heart of Old Town. Lined with restaurants and foodie spots galore, the food options are endless. On top of that, a plethora of boutiques, local shops, and more provides plenty of entertainment and shopping for all. Reporting from Alexandria, Virginia, Alyssa Marie Iqbal, Eagle News.
Thank you all for joining us again. If there are stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, like, share our other shows. City Limits with Alan Basayahe. Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Kui. Play Date with Mike Hudson and friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I am Rose Papa Angeles. Once again, happy weekend, everyone!